Say, what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. During those times, I accumulated some good stories on things related to prison, and I'm going to share one with y'all today. In the event you happen to like this little story or commentary, definitely be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, and definitely be sure to hit the notification bell. That way anytime I drop a story, you will be notified ASAP, and you can hop on it whenever you're ready. With that being said, let's hop right up into this story right here. Now today we talking about Eric Holder. For those of you guys who may be unaware who that is, that's the dude right now who is currently going to trial for being accused of murdering the well-known, well-famous rapper out of LA, Nipsey Hussle. Well, it was reported yesterday that he was assaulted while he was in the holding tank, going to court for a court procedure. So anyway, what they're saying is, what's being reported is he was put in a holding tank with about 13 individuals, and he was jumped by at least two or more people. So he was beat up, assaulted, according to these reports. Beat up, assaulted. He had a blood vessel that was bust, I believe, in the left side of his eye, and also he suffered some type of laceration or cut to the back of his head that required 3 staples. And so the situation is, a lot of people is asking, how will he fare when he get to prison? Well, let's initially address this assault right here. I don't know how long he's been in the LA County jail, but it's been a while, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, somewhere up in there. And some people were saying that, why hadn't he been assaulted yet? Well, I've never been to LA County jail, right? And just from my experience in doing time and stuff, so all I'm doing right here is giving you my opinion and making some assumptions. But I'm assuming, right, due to the high publicity of his trial and due to the high publicity of the person that he was accused of killing, he was immediately put in basically in PC, protective custody, keep away, however you want to say it, So I think that in a situation like that, there's somebody in the jail who's gonna assess the likelihood of him being assaulted by his crime being well known. And so that's probably the reason he hadn't been assaulted up to this point. Now, of course, they'll claim it was some type of mistake and this and that. But in my opinion, he definitely was put in that holding tank to have something happen to him, because, you have a lot of those guys who work in the jail. They listen to rap. They like rap artists and this and that. And just in my opinion, like I say, by doing time, that definitely was no mistake, because like I say, they knew that there was a high likelihood that he would be assaulted if he would be mixed with the general population. And also now, so now people are speculating like who may have got him, and it's hard to say, because outside of Nipsey Hussle being well loved by a lot of individuals, we also got to keep in mind the collective that he was associated with. The neighborhood car is an extremely large car, and so it's hard to say, and then by him being in the LA County jail, you're gonna have people not only from the city of LA, but any parts of LA that's considered LA County, they're gonna be in there. So you got a lot of places, man. Pomona, you got Gardena, a lot of places outside of just LA. So it's hard to say who assaulted the man. But yeah, was he set up to be, was that a move that was set up by the authorities? Of course it was. They knew, just like we all know, that if you mix him with general population, somebody was gonna get him. Somebody was gonna get him. Now, I've been in prison with some famous dudes, dudes who were famous to a certain extent. The rapper X-Rated, Trey D, the rapper Trey D from the East Siders, who was in a group with Snoop Dogg. The rapper JD, who was in the Lynch Mob, a group with Ice Cube, back in the early 80s. Now in California prison, things are a little different. A lot of people say that they'll if you're just a popular celebrity, they're gonna put you in protective custody. No, in California, that has to be requested, man. If you want to be in protective custody in California, you have to request that. When you leave the county jail, they send you to what's known as reception. There they will issue you a CDC number. My CDC number happened to be K13077. Now, the K represent at the time of the year, it's just like what year, like everybody who has a K number went to jail, went to reception. If they didn't already have a prior prison number, they went to reception somewhere around 96. And then after they, K00, they'll start from that, K00001. Then, then when you get up to the, they run through all that, K1, 1000, they run through all that, the 2, so on and so forth. Then, you have some dudes who have B numbers and C numbers. If a dude has a C number, that meant he started doing time quite a ways back. Now before I left, they had went all through the, went through the K's, the P's, the the V's, all that stuff. Now when I left, I think they were back to doing AA. So it's just a whole lot of people coming in and out. But anyway, I digress. So like I say, they issue you a number. So when you're in the reception, you come from, when you leave the county jail, you come to what's known as reception. They put you in a big old giant take. They they give you a little speech about this and that. Then they tell you step out. You step out, you go take a picture, and they give you a number. But before you step out, they ask you, is there anyone in here that is requesting special housing, who needs special housing? So if you don't say, yeah, I need special housing, they're gonna house you in general. They're gonna house you in general population. They're not going to just because you happen to be a celebrity, automatically demand that you go into protective custody. I remember one time I was at a prison, like I said, with the rapper Trey D. He's getting ready to get on the phone. The police in the tower, I forget that jerk's name, but anyway, he said, "Hey, Trey D, what's going on, man? Yeah, I saw you in Baby Boy last night, Man, I'm trying to remember that dude's name. But anyway, so I say that to say, he knew who Trey D was, you know what I'm saying? Trey D was a stomped down soldier. He didn't request no PC or this and that. So for the individuals out there who are always saying, hey, man, oh yeah, they're gonna put you in prison. They're gonna put you in protective custody if you're a superstar. Not in a California prison. They're not gonna do that, man. I've even seen incidents where, somebody may threaten to stab somebody. Sometimes people write kites or whatever, for whatever reason. Sometimes they want the individual removed off the yard. Sometimes a person may have a debt. He can't pay it. So he knows if he writes a kite saying, an anonymous, a kite is in a note. A kite is a note. And then we have this little mailbox where we drop our letters. You have sometimes people would write kites and drop them in there. Oh man, Chill is going to get stabbed tomorrow. So now what they'd come do, they would get me, lock me up, put me in the hole. Now, depending on how credible they believe that kite was, I may stay in the hole a month or two. I may stay in the hole 3-4 days. It just all depends. But at some point in time, they would ask me, hey man, because so when they would send me to the hole, eventually a captain from the yard would come. He would tell me, why I'm locked up and all that type of stuff. When they lock you up, they give you a lockup order and all that. But eventually a captain would come see you. And I could say, hey, man, Captain, this is some bull stuff. I ain't done nothing to nobody or whatever. Then they would give you the opportunity sometimes to sign what's basically either it's called a marriage chrono or signing a paper, just basically relieving them from liability in the event they placed you back on the yard and something happened to you. You could say, hey, man, look, I don't fear for my life. I'm willing to go back to the yard, this and that. It just depends on, how credible they believe. It depends on how credible they believe that threat to be. I've seen where a dude got into it with somebody, and there was a kite sent He got into it with somebody whose father was on the yard, and I'll do a story about that. But there was a kite sent to another yard to have this individual stabbed. Now they believed that to be credible, so they placed him in PC, or excuse me, not PC. They put him in the hole and then shipped him to another prison. Once he got to that next prison, though, he was released back to what's known as the main line or general population. So like I said, sometimes it's just all up to the person in charge to try to assess how credible he believes the threat on a person's life is. Now, if Eric Holder happens to get found guilty and goes to prison, I definitely believe he'll request to be in protective custody. But let's just say that he didn't. Let's say that he doesn't request. He asked to go to the main line. People have asked me, how long would he last? More than likely, man, that dude wouldn't last an hour on the yard. Definitely not 2 hours. The dude wouldn't last, the second he hit the yard and people recognized and realized who he was. And when I say people, I'm primarily talking about the collective that he ran with. But who knows, who knows? It could have been somebody. It could be someone else who just was a Nipsey Hussle fan, But the second that dude hit the yard, man, he definitely would be, he definitely would be assaulted, more than likely probably stabbed, more than likely probably killed, But like I say, it just all depends. But in California prisons, you must request protective housing, man. You can't. They're not just gonna throw you on. They're not gonna make you go do your time in protective custody, because protective custody is basically this: you're in a regular cell, you get all the amenities that you can get out on the main line, except you're only coming out for yard. Maybe you come out and it's not even a yard, you're coming to a little cage. It's like a dog kennel, and you might come out for that like 2 hours every other day. They throw you in the dog kennel and stuff like that. Of course, you're in isolation, you don't have any contact with any other prisoners, convicts. So I say all that to say they can't force you to live like that unless you request it. If you say, hey man, I don't fear for my safety, I'm gonna sign this chrono saying that you guys are not responsible should I go to the yard and something happens, they'll let you do that. So anyway, that was my little opinion on that right there. Y'all already know what it is, man. It's your boy 16 to life. I'll be back soon. Resume normal program.